India's sustainable debt market just hit $55.9 billion, which is up by 186% from 2021. So, my BCom, CA, and CFA grad friends, if you want to pivot your career to sustainability, this is the best time for it. And guess what? You don't even need a separate degree. Your finance skills are already gold here. SEBI's new 2025 ESG rules are creating thousands of high paying jobs for finance grads just like you. So, watch this video till the end to know how you can leverage your existing finance skills with just a few ESG and sustainability certifications and open door to an entirely new career field which has not just high paying jobs but also can create positive impact on the planet. So let's get started. Hi guys, welcome back to Gen Sustainable. So since the past few weeks, I have been getting a lot of DMs from BCom students or CAs and CFAs who want to leverage their career in ESG and sustainability and are clueless or are trying to find out how they can switch to this new career field. So I thought, why not cover it in my video? So today's video is for all you finance grads who have good knowledge of finance, how you can leverage these skills with just a few certifications and without any additional degree or MBA masters and switch from your core finance career to a career in sustainable finance. Now, on 5th June 2025, SEBI dropped a circular stating that all bonds which are sustainability linked bonds or social bonds or sustainable bonds, all of them need to be third party assured. Now, this just means that all banks or all the non financial banking institutes or all the corporations, they just need to hire more people who are certified ESG auditors or who can do ESG certifications. So if you already have some pre-existing audit assurance knowledge or some knowledge of finance and you are just able to leverage it with a few sustainability certifications, you are the rock star these companies are literally searching for. And this is not all. If you go back to March 2025, SEBI had dropped another circular which stated that all the listed entities must disclose the green credits generated by them and their top 10 suppliers. So now this isn't just any other reporting requirement. It is hardcore supply chain ESG financial accounting, which means that people who have good knowledge or a strong foundation of finance and can understand ESG and sustainability, these are the people these companies would be looking for. So companies would literally require finance graduates or people with finance background who know financial data analysis, which is also backed by sustainability knowledge or knowledge of greenhouse gas accounting, supply chain issues, etc., which is also combined by, say, audit and assurance requirements and how all of these things are done. And it's not just about SEBI. So even RBI is pushing banks to go green. Now, RBI's green deposit framework literally means that banks now need to channel their deposits into eco projects, which means that all banks would now require green desk to manage all of these deposits going into eco projects. And guess what? They require finance grads who also have some understanding of climate risk, ESG, and sustainability. And now just imagine if you combine both of these requirements from SEBI and SBI, it just simply means that there are now tons and tons of job openings for finance graduates to work in the field of sustainable finance. So now if you're a finance grad looking to pivot your career in ESG and sustainability, I think you should pick up keywords like ESG analyst or climate risk analyst, green finance manager, or green credit manager, words like this, and start hunting your new job roles on all the job portals like LinkedIn, Naukri, Indeed, etc. And these job roles have the potential of having salary as high as 25 lakhs per annum for people who have some experience, prior experience in ESG, sustainability, or finance. And you also don't require any additional degree. So all you have to do is to just understand some of the basic ESG frameworks like BRSR well, GHG accounting, a little bit of SASB, TCFD, and get a few certifications done like CFA, ESG, GARP, etc. And that's literally your portal or your gateway to all of these job opportunities. And the companies who would be hiring for these roles would be none other than, say, Indian banks like SBI, HDFC, or any other bank, as well as the top foreign investment banks who are operating in India. So it could be something like Barclays, JP Morgan, or any other bank like Deutsche Bank, etc. You can also get roles in Big Fours, in ESG assurance and ESG audits, or in any other companies who are into investments or in non-banking financial institutes. All of them would be hiring in a large number for finance grads. So now, depending on your educational background, now I have made this chart which you can see on the screen, where I have bifurcated of what are the pre-existing skills that you might be having if you have any of these prior qualifications, and then what are the type of certifications you can undergo to upgrade your skills in ESG and sustainability, and then what type of roles you can apply to, and what is the salary you can expect, and what are the type of organizations that might be hiring. So you can pause for a minute and go through this chart well. And after this, we would discuss one by one for all of the three backgrounds of BCom, CA, and CFA. Now, just as a disclaimer, all of the salaries which I am mentioning are available on the internet on various job portals like Glassdoor or Ambition Box or on Google search. So you can also go back and search all of these figures to cross verify and cross check them well. So these figures are not the actual pays, and the actual pay could differ depending on your skills, experience, negotiation skills, interview, etc. So yeah, so that's a disclaimer you need to take into consideration. So let's begin our discussion first with the qualification of BCom. So any of y'all who are BCom grads. Now, BCom grads, the first type of role which you can apply is ESG research analyst. And with your BCom skills, you already have some knowledge of accounting or financial data analysis. And with these skills, 60% of your job is already done, because you already know data analysis, you know to use basic softwares like Microsoft Office. And now all you have to do is to understand frameworks like BRSR well, understand the SASB requirements well, understand what ESG is, materiality assessments, open SEBI's BRSR framework, go question by question, understand what is the requirement of each of the questions. SEBI also has a guidance for BRSR. So you can go through each of these questions and parameters well in the guidance to understand what disclosure is required in each of the question, and then also understand some basic concepts like GHG accounting, supply chain data analysis, and you are ready to apply for an ESG research analyst role without any additional certification or any additional master's or MBA degree. And guess what? The salary for ESG research analyst could be anywhere from 3 lakhs to 8 lakhs. As you can see on the screen, this is the figure from Glassdoor, and the salaries for experience of about 1 to 3 years. And then with some additional experience of few more years, you can also get a salary of up to 10 lakh rupees per annum. Then the next role which you can apply to could be something like a sustainability analyst or a green finance analyst, or something like green finance specialist or sustainability specialist in any of the banks or financial institutions. And here, if you already have some prior knowledge of subjects like finance, economics, how to do basic stock analysis, then you can just leverage your skills with some ESG certifications like CFA ESG certification or GARP SCR certification, and you can get jobs or roles related to green bond analysis or green stock analysis, and you can easily pivot your career into ESG and sustainability. And if you upgrade your knowledge well of RBI's green finance bonds well, then you can also get some of the jobs in the green finance desk, which would be coming up in a lot of banks, which are already coming up in some of the banks, and a lot more banks would be hiring in the coming time for these roles. And the salary here could be somewhere between 3 lakh rupees to 12 lakh rupees per annum. Now, the next job which you can apply to is Green Credit Manager. Now, if you already understand subjects like credit analysis, so you only have to apply them to sustainability projects or projects related to renewable energy like solar and wind, and you can easily transition into green credit analysis. And all you have to do here is to understand well how companies related to renewable energy sector work, how greenhouse gas accounting is done, what are the sustainability requirements as per all of these guidelines by RBI and SEBI, and you can easily transition into the green credit analyst role. And as you can see on the screen, the salary for this role can range somewhere between 6 lakh to 15 lakh rupees per annum, depending on your prior experience and the type of certifications you have done. So I think if you're a BCom graduate, the hard part of understanding economics or finance or all the aspects related to bonds and stocks, so you already have some basics of all of these concepts covered, which I think are not covered in a lot of other STEM courses like engineering. So engineers or any other people from science background might not have this knowledge handy, or they might not have very good understanding of these subjects, which you already have. So half of your job is already done there. And now you just have to do some basic stuff like go to GHG protocol, understand GHG accounting, watch my previous video on the link given in the description here on the screen, so that you can learn how greenhouse gas accounting is done, and then just understand all the basic frameworks like BRSR, GRI, SASB, TCFD well, and I think you're already good to go to apply for all of these jobs. Okay, so after BCom graduates, now it's time to discuss about CAs. So if you're a CA, I mean, you already have the best of audit and assurance knowledge, and you already have a good network in most of the big fours or in any other big audit and accounting firms. And with the SEBI's requirement of all the top 1,000 listed companies who need to get their BRSR report assured by 2027. So I think you are already a gold mine these companies are looking for. So if you just upgrade your ESG and sustainability skills, you have huge job opportunities in any of these audit and accounting firms. But instead of auditing the financial data, now you would be auditing the ESG or sustainability related data. And the salary range also is pretty much similar across levels in big fours if you're into financial auditing or if you're into ESG or sustainability auditing. So you already have like good salary in all of these roles. And also I think to become an ESG auditor, it would be a lot easier, or there would be a much less competition for you to enter big fours compared to the traditional financial auditing roles, because I think there are already tons of people applying in big fours for these roles. But for ESG role, I think ESG auditors, there are not many qualified ESG auditors, assurance providers who have knowledge of these things. And I think you would have to face a lot less competition to get into a big four compared to your traditional finance related roles. So yeah, so that's one major role for CAs. And as you can see on screen, like the big fours can provide salaries anywhere near 25 lakh rupees per annum if you're into ESG audit or assurance related role. Now, the next role which CAs you can apply is climate risk analyst. So it is similar to financial risk analyst, but then here you also add an angle of climate risk, which a company could face, and do the climate risk analysis for the financial investments of a company. So again, you already have a strong foundation of finance related knowledge. You can do financial data analysis very well. You already know how financial data modeling is done, financial strategy is done. All of these concepts are already cleared in your CA. So all you have to do is leverage your climate risk analysis knowledge, and it's very simple to do that. So you can do the GARP SCR sustainability and climate risk certification. Now it's not a very difficult certification, and you can easily leverage your climate risk analysis skills along with your financial knowledge and get into climate risk analysis. And the companies who might be hiring for these roles could be any of the investment banks or Indian banks. And the next job role which you can apply is green bonds manager. Now, most of the banks are coming up with green bond manager because they have to do the financial due diligence of their green bonds. So again, as a CA, you already have good knowledge and expertise on how financial due diligence is done. Now, if you just upgrade this knowledge with a bit of ESG and sustainability knowledge with, say, a certification like CFA ESG certification, then you're good to go to apply for any of these green bond manager jobs in all of the banks coming up, and you can easily leverage into ESG and sustainability. And as you can see on the screen, for banks like SBI, the salary can go from 14 lakh rupees per annum to as high as 60 lakh rupees per annum, depending on your prior experience and knowledge. So this is a very good job opportunity for CA grads with just some certifications like CFA ESG or GARP HCR, which are not very difficult for a CA. If you have cracked a difficult exam like CA, then all of these certifications are not very tough for you, honestly. You can easily leverage your career. And along with certification, I would just recommend that, understand basics like GHG accounting, BRSR, and all of the regulations come up by SEBI and RBI for sustainability and ESG green bonds. So just understand them well, understand the requirements well, try to correlate it with the financial knowledge, and you're good to go. Now, coming up to the CFA grad. So if again you're a CFA, you already have good knowledge of financial analysis, financial data modeling, valuation, capital allocation, etc. So you have a strong base of finance. And for CFAs, again, it's very easy to take the CFA ESG certification. Now, the CFA ESG certification is a very, very easy certification compared to the main CFA certification. So if you have completed your main CFA certification, the CFA ESG certification would be very easy for you to crack, and you can easily develop all the basics related to ESG and sustainability well with this certification, and you're already good to go to apply to a lot of job opportunities in ESG and sustainability. So with all of the ESG and sustainability knowledge, you can then apply for jobs in corporates who are issuing green bonds, or you can also apply in top investment banks or even in Fortune 500 companies who are planning to do investments in the renewable sector or green energy sector or any of the eco projects. So they would require people like you who have a good knowledge and understanding of financial analysis, as well as who understand how the renewable sector or the eco projects sector works. And you just have to combine these two knowledge bases, and you are already ready to get jobs in all of these companies. So as you can see on the screen, for an ESG analyst role, you can expect a salary of somewhere between 16 to 24 lakhs in companies like MSCI. And as your experience grows, your salary would also keep on compounding. And with all of the additional certifications and as your knowledge base increases, the salary growth is also exponential in all of these top organizations. Now, the next job which you can apply for is climate risk specialist as a CFA. So if you already love things like derivatives modeling or financial modeling, so you're already there, 80% there for roles related to climate risk modeling or the analysis of climate stocks. And all you have to do is just get the GARP SCR certification, which will give you some knowledge of climate risk analysis. And if you combine this with your pre-existing financial risk modeling, derivatives modeling knowledge, you are good to go to apply to roles like climate risk specialist. And the top companies you can apply to are global asset managers or investment banks. And as you can see, it is also a very high paying job, and your salary can go somewhere from 16 lakhs to as high as 50 lakh rupees per annum with the experience. Now, all of these job roles which I mentioned were majorly for India, but if you are aiming to work outside of India, you can also target for countries in Europe, because Europe is also coming up with a lot of regulations related to ESG and sustainability, which are focused on green finance or sustainable finance. So if you are willing to migrate to countries in Europe, I think all you should do is first of all identify which country you want to shift to, and then probably target an MBA in that country. And I would recommend an MBA in that particular country is because then you get some exposure to how the country functions, and you have some networking opportunities because of your MBA. And you also have easy access to internships and job market in that country if you have some qualification in the country. But that being said, even if you leverage your skills with certifications like CFA or GARP, you would still be eligible to apply to a lot of companies in Europe. So check for these companies in Europe and you can apply there as well. So now a step-by-step guide for a finance grad would be: first, to brush up your existing finance skills well. Make sure that your financial analysis knowledge and your knowledge related to finance is very well up to the mark. The next step is to identify in which field you really want to work in sustainable finance. And as per this domain where you want to work, you then need to shortlist the certification that you want to undergo. So if you're interested in climate risk analysis or as a climate risk specialist, then you should go for a GARP SCR certification. If you are interested in audit and assurance related to ESG and sustainability reports, then probably if you're a CA, that would be beneficial. And if you're interested in stocks or equity research, then you should majorly aim for the CFA ESG certification. And if you're interested in things like green deals, then you should go for ICMA certification. So this way you should pick your certification depending on the domain you want to work in. And now suppose if you feel that you're not in a position to go through any of these certifications, because they come with a cost. All of these certifications cost somewhere between 60 to 70,000 rupees. And if you're not in a position to get these certifications but you still want to migrate into ESG and sustainability, the best way is to go through all of the free resources available online. So understand very well how BRSR reporting is done, how GRI reporting is done, what are the requirements of SASB, how SASB has different material topics identified for each of the different sectors. Understand TCFD reporting well, which is Task Force for Climate Related Financial Disclosure. So understand their requirements well. TCFD website also has a lot of free certifications. So you can undergo all of these free certifications available on TCFD website, who would give you good understanding of climate related financial disclosures. And with all of these free certifications, you can easily leverage your ESG and sustainability related knowledge to break into sustainable finance rules. And that being said, if you're able to do certifications, make sure that along with these certifications, you also go through these free resources. Don't neglect the free resources if you are doing the certification, because both the things combined together will obviously give you an edge over any other candidate. So if you come from a finance background with good financial knowledge, there are tons of job openings in the financial sector. And make sure you use your finance related skills well, you network well with people working in these organizations. You understand well from them what type of tasks they are doing on day-to-day basis in their roles, and have a good understanding of if you really enjoy these topics and if you would like to work on these topics and migrate into ESG and sustainability. And remember, if you are working in ESG and sustainability, you are working in a sector that creates impact on the planet. Make sure you're not greenwashing, staying away from greenwashing, and working towards real impact creation. And yeah, so I wish all the best to my finance grad friends who want to migrate into ESG and sustainability. And do let me know in the comments below if you have any more questions, suggestions, if you have any other observations apart from what I already mentioned in this video. And till we come back with more videos, watch all the videos on my channel related to career advice on this link, and you can be the next sustainable finance rock star all of these Fortune 500 companies hunting for. So stay impactful, stay and sustainable. Bye bye.